Well, I think I'm live, but I don't know. So if you're seeing this on a replay, pardon my weird beginning. But hi, it's Dawn, and I am turning on my camera today while I'm doing some more mosaics. I've been doing these previously and been enjoying it so much. I've been playing mostly with my palette of reds and pinks that I'm trying to clean up. I've got some old palettes here that just need a little cleaning out, and I can't bear to throw pigment out, so I've just been doing this. In previous videos I've shown this, but I'll show it again. All I did was draw some horizontal lines here, and then I did some diagonals on the X, and then I just went inch increments off of those lines just to kind of, and then knock them back to give me a just a little bit of structure so I can kind of see where my diagonals are. And you can even see, like on this one right here, where there's a little bit of the pencil showing through, and that pencil is just going to stay there because once you put watercolor over it, it does not go anywhere. Now the little bit of a gap there, I'll be able to erase that if I want, but that's just to kind of show you how I do it. And what is that showing through? Oh, I don't know. Okay, anyway, so I've wet my pigments here on these 3 palettes that I'm trying to work my way through, and we're just gonna kind of get started. And you'll see, like, this line here is a lot deeper than some of the previous rows, but there's no rules here. We're just having fun. We're just playing with some pigments. So let's play around with some paint. Ooh, got some dust and dirt in my brush, which I always seem to have, but I leave my palettes out. I don't really cover them. And this time of year, the windows can be open at times, and so dust is a part of it. And in one of my other videos, I mentioned how I hold my brush very up and down like this, and you can get a really sharp point. It's hard to film that actual technique, my apologies, but I like doing that when I'm trying to get really crisp corners right here or even down here. And then you know, I flatten it out as I go to fill in the space, but I use the tip of it like this when I'm really trying to get that crisp corner there. And obviously, as you can look at my other squares, mosaics, I have not always been successful with that, or I don't always remember. But that's just the way it goes. And that was a combination of Cad Red, I think, and a Quin Magenta just now. And then I've got a little bit of Payne's Gray over here, which I'll grab from time to time to dull things. I also have a red here that is a combination of a bunch of reds and Payne's Gray. And then I've got a couple of violets over on this palette. I got a really deep violet here, and then a really paler kind of purpley grapey purple over here that I'm using to just change up these colors a little bit, because this red here really makes things kind of a dusty pink when you really water it down, whereas, you know, the purples obviously make it more blue, more cool. But this is me. This is my process. It's not fancy. It's just, it's what I like to do when I don't know what else I want to work on. And on a Saturday morning, well, afternoon at this point, this is often what I'm doing, is just painting patterns. I do like it. It speaks to me. Okay, let's grab, in this color here, this super pale pink in this guy here, that is Holbein Shell Pink. Then I know this is Opera Pink, and I believe this is Quin Red right there, just to kind of give you a point of reference on some of these colors. Okay, now let's, and I do not pre-plan any of my shapes or any of my colors. It is all spur of the moment, and I like it that way because it keeps things from, I don't know, feeling like I gotta follow a certain style, or if I do something wrong, it just lets you correct your mistakes in the moment, because sometimes you know, overdo something or underdo something, and you got to go back and you got to add another color. All right, let's go with a bit more of the violet, the purpley grapey colors over here. Let's see if we can make this go a little bluer. See, like that line isn't terribly straight, but we're just not going to worry about it. We'll just adapt with the new shape and make it match. Make the white, the negative space, match it. Nobody cares. Nobody's keeping track of how straight these lines are. Well, maybe somebody is, but I'm not. Alright, see, that brought that pink back a little darker, blue colors. Now, I am going to go, oh, I gotta be careful of that camera, because this is a really long brush. Oh, I meant to tell you, I'm using a number 10. It's a synthetic squirrel. It is by Escoda. It's called a Versatile. It doesn't matter what the name of the brush is, but it just, I always get asked, so I try to say that. The important part is that it's round and it comes to a really nice nib, a really nice tip, a really nice point. And then the other part is that it is synthetic squirrel. I don't care who makes it, whether it's Hobby Lobby's brand or dollar store. I mean, I don't know if dollar store, let's say that. I don't have any idea if dollar store has synthetic squirrel, but those are my favorite, bristles or hairs, or even though they're synthetic, which I want synthetic because I don't like the thought of squirrels being cold in the winter. Alright, so now we grab some, that purple was still on my brush, and we just grabbed some carmine. Nope, I think that's Quinn Red, whatever. You get the idea. Okay, let's grab a little opera pink and a little, whatever that is, shell pink. There we go. Ooh. Oh man, opera, she does not play, does she? She does not play. Or she means business when she shows up, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like that. Okay. Ooh, that's watery. So what we're going to do now, because that's so watery, is we're going to go grab some more pigment. We're going to go a little heavier on the pigment, not grab any more water if we can help it. And then we're going to borrow some of that water back. Yeah, I've got too much water on this one too. Not too much, but I don't have enough. I can afford to borrow any, so we're going to do it one more time and let the brush kind of deplete itself. Maybe. The brush doesn't seem to be depleting very quickly. That's one thing about these big brushes, is they hold a lot of water, which is good until you get too much, and then it's not good, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. And if we have to, we'll just dab it back. I'm not talking about that square right there. She's too wet. She's going to dry weird. My goal is to get them to dry very even as possible, to make these little squares look like they're little pieces of tile, like little mosaic tiles. And when you got it too wet, they dry funky, they dry weird. All right, let's try not to grab anything else and just go again. See if we can dry this brush out. That's getting better. Our window is closing though to grab that water. See it right there puddling? Our window is closing to grab it without creating a new problem. Okay, I think I can grab it now. I think this, you know what, I'm going to wipe my brush off on a piece of scrap paper to the side, and now this is super dry. Now I'm going to go mop this up. See, just like that. I'm going to mop up a little bit of that too. Oop, not too much, not too much. Don't leave dimples. Don't leave cellulite. All right. Now let's go in a different direction with the shape. Ooh, Dawn, pay attention. I just ran into that one. Didn't mean to, because I'm going too fast. I'm trying to hurry because I don't want the paint, the water to be an issue again. Too much water is just as much a problem as too little water. So there's that dance we do, right? And that's partly why I do this, is because I'm always trying to work on my water consistency, my water control. And every time you do it, every time you practice it, which I try to practice every day, you get better at it. It's that muscle memory thing, right? And you can do this same mosaic with just anything. It doesn't have to be pinks, but I recommend doing it with colors that are beside each other on the color wheel. If your favorite color is purple or green or yellow, go for it. And this is not rocket science. This is just a little play. At least it is for me. And just like 7 years old and you can give yourself a haircut, if you go too far, just keep going a little bit further. It's all right. You meant to stop that shape there, you got to go a little further. You can do that. Now those colors right there are kind of similar, but I'm just gonna leave them. I could go in and try it. Well, no, I'm not either. See, I'm gonna grab a little. I can't leave well enough alone. I'm gonna grab, ooh, that's a lot. I grabbed a little bit of that grapey color. Okay, don't know if I'm gonna regret that or not, but I think anytime you play, you learn things, right? Okay, let's go back towards the red. Let's bend it back. Watercolor is so much fun because you can bend the color. See, that is so blue. I mean, so cool, because there's a lot of blue in that purple and that pink. And now with the dirty brush, I just picked up a little bit of red, just a little. And look at me bend that back warm again, see? And that is the joy of it and the frustration of it, because when you want it warmer or cooler, it never fails. You don't get that. But when you're just playing like this, you don't care. You just get a few colors going that you like and just combo the crap out of them. Just keep going and get combinations of them. All right, let's grab some shell pink and mute that a little bit. And you'll notice I'm not rinsing my brush in between. And there's no rush to this. This is meant to be kind of meditative in my world. There's people who call it, there's a girl, Wendy, her name's Wendy, I think her channel is called Willow Wanders, and she talks about art being a meditative therapy for her. And I get it. I understand, Wendy, I get you. Oh, that's not very different enough. Let's try a little grape. Try a little violet, rather. Don't be afraid to pull out a piece of paper. If a book intimidates you, I'm working in a 9x12 book here that I'm personally put together. It's not a, you can see the binding isn't that great. Don't matter. Grab a piece of paper if a book intimidates you. I'm always afraid of ruining a book, you know. pull out a piece of paper and just start doodling. Put some lines on it. That's easy. That's scary sometimes, just to put lines on paper. But then once you get some lines on the paper, then grab a couple colors. Limit your palette to 3 or 4 colors and then just start mixing them. That's how I started. Limited palette. And you can get all weird and ask a lot of what if questions, like what if we added white? What if we added orange? Now I added cad red to this just now, and that is going to really make it go warm. And you'll see me using that tip to make really precise points where I can, or really precise lines. That is not always possible, depending on the brush and depending on your hand and the position. Sometimes I'm better at it than other times. But this is a great way to use up your palette. If you've got some pigments left on your palette that you want to kind of clean off, that's kind of my situation. I've got a bunch of 3 palettes here, as you can probably see, and this one's a plastic palette, and I'm really transitioning out of plastic. I started off, and these are ceramic. But it's a great way when you're reaching the end. You finished a project, let's say, which is what this one was, and you're trying to use up pigments. This is a great little exercise to do. It gives you the eye-hand coordination practice. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to scan this on a little cheapy scanner, and then I'm going to print it out and use it in other projects. How fun is that? Yeah. Okay, what color do I want to do next? Let's go light pink. I can't see over my book. It's bending up. Let's lighten that color here. Now this next row is a bit shorter. And this is a guideline, not a rule. Not a rule. This is just a way to keep myself honest and keep myself from going. I slant. I tend to slant it when I'm left to my own devices. So I give myself lines to keep me from getting all slanted, listing like a really leaky sailboat. So that's the only reason these lines are here. And if you can keep yourself in, I can't also write on notebook paper without lines, without it all going slanty poo. So I need lines, I need boundaries, I need guardrails. And that's all these lines are. They're my personal guardrails. And if you don't need them, okie dokie. God bless you. Go on. You do you. But I also think that with the different size heights, like this one's wider, and some of the, I think that makes it more interesting too. I think it makes it, I don't know, more fun. You see how I got that little, I don't know, that little, I just match it with my next tile. I don't look at it as a obstacle. Oh, that color is an obstacle though. Pardon this interruption for a color change. I just grabbed some violet and I'm just going to go over the same spot I've already done. I'm going to go up on tippy toes here. Okay. And if this speed is not your jam, if you're like, you start doing this and you go, oh, I don't have this patience, go faster. Do you. The end result is not the goal. Doesn't have to be the goal. It can be the cherry on top, But if you end up with something that you like, okay, I'm going to have to shift now. Moving ever so slightly, because my wrist is getting in a bind. It's not liking it. Alrighty. vertical adjustments. Go faster. I mean, some of the best artwork I've ever seen is stuff that just, man, it looks like it's been slapped up there. Pollock, Jason Pollock, anybody? Jason Pollock? Do I have that right? Well, whatever Pollock's first name is. I mean, the man literally throws paint at canvas, but it's beautiful. So you don't have to do it this speed. My speed is not required to do this. And if this kind of patience is going to make you not want to do it, then don't do it like this. And I'll be really honest, a few years back, there's no way I did not have the patience for this even 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I would not have had the patience to, and I don't have the patience for schmutz like that. Ugh, I hate it. Okay, moving on. My mother used to teach Montessori kindergarten. Well, she taught lots of grades, but she used to say the Montessori method, and she insisted that my children do at least 1 year of Montessori. Excuse me. Because the premise behind Montessori was, and I'm probably going to overstate it or understate it, but that you do what you feel like in the moment. And I think art should be like that. You know, the kids would come in the morning and they'd go to whatever station that they wanted to go to, puzzles or sorting games or whatever, and they would just do whatever they felt like at that time. And man, I think art ought to be like that. Do what you feel like in that time. There's no shoulds. Okay, enough babbling and rambling. I do ramble while I paint. I'm an external processor, so I tend to just yammer on about nothing, about something. One never knows. Okay, that's a really wonky square rectangle. I'm trying to straighten it out. We haven't used any of this blended color over here in a minute. Let's grab some of this super dark, dusty, whatever this is. And yes, eventually I will have to clean this out, but what I'll probably do is take a big mop brush. You know, those big, these big guys? Oh, love these guys. And then I'll just get in there and get a whole bunch of red on it and wash it all over a paper, which I then use for other things. I use it for collage or anything I might need. I cut it up into hearts. I have those, this is a circle punch, but I have those like heart punches. And I'll pull the punches out and punch up a bunch of rando colored watercolor paper that I've used to clean up my cleanup papers. And man, that comes out. And then I use those for cards and stuff, like birthday cards. It's fun. Okay. And it's a great way to use your stuff up without feeling like it's washing down the drain, literally. Okay. That is very dark, isn't it? Let's add some of that shell pink to that. Let's see what we get. Put a little water in there because that feels really thick. Now we'll go back the other way. It's that same color, that mother red, but with shell pink added to it, and it makes it, the shell pink's got a lot of white in it. I think titanium white if I had to guess, but I'm not sure. And that makes it very opaque, which is like not watercolor. Watercolor is transparent, right? Gouache is opaque. But here we go. Not sure if I'm going to like that square or not, because it's got a lot of pigmentation in it. I may just do another one right next to it. Yeah, it's a little bit of the same color, but let me grab a little of the cad red and see if we can change it up a little bit here. I encourage you to use whatever colors are in your your color box already. I only tell you the colors in case you're wondering what I add to it. Square now is kind of wonky. I'm going to clean that up. Doing that 7-year-old haircut again. I'm hoping I don't scalp myself. And if you take too long to fill your square, if you're like being precise, just go back over it and just kind of go over it one more time. That'll fill it in nicely. Keep it from drying weird. All right, let's see. I'm still not happy about this. So I grabbed a little bit of water. I don't want to mess with it too much, but I am going to try to, it feels like it's just got too much sitting on it, you know. I'm just going to take a little bit off. And then I'm going to go grab some Payne's Gray. We're going to dull that down. I always have Payne's Gray or a neutral tint handy. It's very helpful to tone down colors that are going too warm. The purple also works. Dioxazine purple works really well for that too. But Payne's Gray keeps it from being too purple. Okay, that's a pretty color. Don't ask me how to make it again though, because it was whatever was in my brush plus some Payne's Gray. Alright, let's grab some Quinn Red and let's go warm. Ooh, that's quite warm, isn't it? It's almost lipstick red. Oof. Alright, well, if I make a big enough square, I can get water and pull it down and lighten that puppy up. Too much water, too much water. Shoot. No, we'll be alright. I might just go add a little more real estate to it though. Give that water a place to go. There's any number of ways you can do these mosaic squares. You can outline them and then fill them in. That's one way. You can kind of do it the way I've been doing it, which is just to pick up color and just fill as you go. It's really a personal preference. I tend not to outline because I find as I come back to the outline that sometimes that outline is dried, and then it leaves me a line that I don't like. So I tend to fill as I go, but then that sometimes leaves you with weird lines at the bottom, like right here. Even though I know I did that, it dried quicker on the edge there. So then I go back and do whatever colors on my brush now, and that might make a whole new kettle of fish. But it's just an experiment with patterns, and I love patterns. I play with them all the time. I find that I like the structure of them combined with the uncertainty of the watercolor, which is maddening to some people. Some people do not like how you just don't know what color you're going to get with watercolor. And I get that. I understand it. I stayed away from watercolor for a long time because of that myself. But I do, you know, you try things again and you go, oh, well, maybe I do like this better than I thought. And it turns out I love watercolor. I would hardly call myself a watercolor artist because I don't really do landscapes or portraiture or still life or anything like that. But I play around with them. They make me happy when I make these patterns, and I fill up sketchbooks with pattern upon pattern. And I'm a collage artist too, so I use my patterns for my collage work as well. All right, that's a pretty color. That was that plummy grapey color over here, which I don't know what it is anymore because this palette's been so used. I'm not entirely sure what the color is, but that's okay. It's turned into a little melting pot of colors, and that's okay. But like I said, the key I think is the tip. Whatever brush you're using, I think the key is the brush. If you're trying to draw really straight lines like this, and you're trying to, you know, get precise little corners like I'm drawing right now. Ooh, I went past the stop sign there. I think if you don't have a super tiny tip on your brush, I don't care who makes it, I don't care what the bristles are, if you don't have that kind of brush, I think it's going to be a challenge for you to get those tips. So if you're sitting down and you've got a flat brush, you know, where it's just flat across the ends, then practice stripes. Trying to get shapes from that. But don't expect to get these shapes. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. Now I'm going to come back around this way. This feels more comfortable. And this can get very tedious doing this. And for some people, it's just not worth it. Sometimes I can only do it for an hour or 30 minutes at a time, and that's okay. To me, that's okay. Because I'll finish it eventually. It's like reading a book. All right, where should we go? Let's see. That opera is up here. I haven't done much with opera again, so let's go grab some more opera. We don't want too much of it, but just a little bit of opera is good. Not sure if you can see the opera in the... Yeah, you can. Okay. Now, let's go... Ooh, let's do an upside-down triangle. I say I don't pre-plan it, but do I think about it before I start putting paint to paper? For a second, yeah, I do. Okay, let's see. This is a really uncomfortable position for my hand, but I'm trying to see if I can get a straighter line. That's not bad. That opera's something else. I'm going to straighten that out just a little. And I'm going to go around my edges just in case they're starting to dry first. Gives you a crisper image. You can tell I haven't always done that throughout this little exercise, but that's okay. That's okay. That's pretty brown red. Like a maroon. Now there's where I outlined it and I'm filling it in, but I did it at the very end. All right, now I'm just going to add water to that and maybe a little bit of Quin Red. Quin Red is a beautiful color. If you've never played with it, oh my goodness. Absolutely beautiful. I mostly use Daniel Smith watercolors. I've got a few Schminkies, a few Winsor Newtons and a few Holbeins. But I would say 80–90% of my palette is Daniel Smith, and that's just because when I was first starting this years ago, my mentor / BFF, she's a watercolor artist, amazing artist. She does still life and wildlife, and oh, stunning. Anyway, she loved Daniel Smith, so of course, you know, your teacher, your mentors, and she's the one who loved squirrel, synthetic squirrel brushes and round brushes. She never used anything but. So, you know, that's just kind of the way that goes. Okay, that is too pale. I'm sorry, too opaque. I grabbed some shell pink just now to try to thin that down. So I have a piece of paper over here to the side that when I just don't like what's going on in my brush, I don't put it in water except to just rehydrate it. But I do that because I just want to be able to correct what I'm doing, I guess is what. So now I'm just gonna spread this out a little bit so that I can get less opacity, because the opaque dries funny. It dries with like a sheen on it. Like it looks like it's got an oil slick or something on it. I just don't like it. I like a little of it, of opacity added, a little opaqueness added. But if you add too much, it dries on a funny, and draws your eye to it, and I don't want that to happen. Let me just show you what I have. Off to the side, I have a cheap little notebook where I just, and this is stuff I punch my hearts and whatever out of later. But anyway, I digress. Back to the mosaics. All right. Let's get some more purples in here. Let's go violet, actually. Let's go dioxazine purple, and then maybe my mother red over here. And see what kind of color we can get. See if we like it. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't. Yeah, so it's just a quiet Saturday here, and I thought I'd just start a live while I sat down to paint a little. I was actually about to work on another project, but I like to do this as kind of a warm-up exercise. It warms up my eye-hand coordination, and it gets my creative juices bubbling. And let's grab a little cad red over here, and let's just do a big square right here. And I thought I'd just turn the camera on and go live, so here we are. Nothing better to me than a day spent in my studio. Can't always do it, but that's sure what I like to do. Okay, that's gonna dry weird, I can tell already. So I'm just gonna go back over it, not adding any more pigment, not adding more water. I'm just gonna do like a second layer of glaze just to keep it from drying funky. And I don't always spend the time to do it, but sometimes I do. So there you go. All right, new row. See, I even did it here. I started off here, and look how much deeper I got by here. That's the whole thing of me slanting. Like I ignored the lines and just kept doing what I want, whatever. Am I frustrated with myself? Yes. Are we going to move on? Yes, yes, also yes. Okay, my paints are drying up a little bit, so I'm going to spritz them with a little bit of water. And we're going to go to this next line here. So let's do bloop. Now I did outline that after I got through saying I don't outline, but I felt like I needed to start this next row. Now we'll go back over it to try to help erase that outline. I really want to go a bit more pale pink. Look how I've gotten progressively darker. And that is my problem. I do get progressively darker. I need to go back to the pale. Return to the pale. So I am not going to put any more, a lot more pigment in this. I've just put a tad more pigment in it. And now I'm going to, it's not a color. It's a saturation of color or a lack of color that creates those paler colors, those washes. Those really beautiful pastel-y washes. And I tend to just go crazy adding pigment to my brush. That's another reason why I do these, is to make myself pull back from all those deep saturations, high chroma values. I just don't need a lot to make a pretty pattern. But don't tell my brush that. My brush just wants to grab all the pigments. I want all the paints. Ooh, it's almost a hot day here. I don't know where y'all are, but it's probably pushing 90 where I am. I'm in Central Florida, and it is summer. Summer is here. It's not summer junior anymore. It is summer. All right. Let's just barely touch the pigments. Barely touch the paints. I just need the pigment really to change the color, to bend the color back warm or to bend the color back cool. And that's what I keep forgetting, is that I have on the one side my mind that goes, use up the pigments, you know, so you can move on. And then the other side of my brain going, yeah, but you only need a little. So the OCD, clean it up, use it up, makes, I find I pick up too much. See, I love that. That is what I've been going for this whole time. That color right there. Okay, remember, remember, remember. Don't touch the big pieces, just touch the little scanty bits. All right, but that's too much like it's that one, which is where I come into a problem. That's where I go grab a little of this. See, there I go again, using too much pigment. Just call me pigment queen. I see, I like that so much better than these. These are too dark. That's a personal preference, and your mileage may vary. So do what colors you like. Do the colors that make you happy. I will tell you, on a 9x12 sheet, I've learned that each row takes me about 15 minutes. So if I had done one whole video, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 rows, you do the math, it's a lot of, that would have been a long video, which is why I've been breaking it up, because these are particularly time consuming. And I don't mind, but just be aware. See, this is a very cool color I've got going on here, and I kind of prefer the more dustier colors up here, so I'm going to try to bend this back warmer, but not pick up a lot of pigment at the same time. So I'm going to go grab some Cad Red and try to go back that direction a little bit. So now that my hand's warmed up, I'm worried less about my structure of the mosaics. And now I'm more worried about the color theory. I'm trying to get the, you know, to get the color hues that I want, the pastel colors I'm after. All right, I'm liking that. So now, because I've got so little on here, I'm just going to go back over one more time just to give it a good, there. And that made it too dark. Okay, but it does dry lighter. It does dry lighter, don't forget. I sometimes forget that too. It dries lighter. And when you get a little precise up here, that's when the rest of your square starts drying, and the rest of your mosaic, your tile starts drying. And that's when you gotta kind of go over it again to keep it from drying all in bits and pieces, uneven. Okay. Grab a little water, grab a little pigment, but only a little. Trying to keep it soft and pastel-y. That's the goal anyway. So I've been getting kind of jewel toned up here. The paper I'm using is Strathmore 400, which is not, it's still cellulose. It's still, it's better than 5 and below, but it's not 100% cotton either. So it will work fairly well if you don't scrub a lot. If you need to do a lot of, or layering a lot. I find that it does pretty okay with glazing. Like this is like been glazed like what, 6 times I think for that pattern. 5 and below paper, after like 3 glazes, it's done. It starts pilling, it starts rolling up on you, it starts disintegrating. It's $5 paper for a whole pack. What do you expect? This paper will handle glazing and scrubbing to some degree. Just don't go crazy with it. I do have 100% cotton paper and I love using it. It's just for this kind of play, this paper is kind of that happy medium, happy middle, where it's not too much expense wise, and then it's not too cheap where it's going to tear up on you while you're trying to do something like a glaze. I just grabbed a little bit of that Holbein Shell Pink just now just to see if I could kind of bend this a little softer, and I keep feeling like I'm getting the same dang color over and over again. And at the end of the day, I can always come back after this is fully dried and introduce other colors. I keep trying to bend it more to that softer pink, like up here and here and here, but I'm not being very successful at that. So I picked up a little shell pink just now and then a little bit of Payne's Gray. I think that's going to make it purple, but let's see what we get. It's very dry. Can't draw a straight line right now. So much for shape. Yeah, these all feel very pink. All right, let's go a different direction. Let's go pale to Axazine purple. Let's just throw a change up in here. See if we can. Do a palette cleanse. What do they call that when you're eating dinner and they bring you something to cleanse your palette? Let's do a brush palette cleanse. All right, I'm gonna go grab this Mother because it's a really nice muted tone. I'm really trying to use a bit. that. It's a nice pinky brown. All right, let's see. Let's just grab this Quin Red. Let's just do a super, super pale wash of this Quin Red and see if we can get a nice, I don't know, mid-tone pink. Get back to my pastel roots here. Yeah, it's better, I guess. I'm still trying to get back to this land, get out of jewel tone, but here we are. Ooh, it's almost not even a color right there. And I'm just going to kind of make a shape that meets this little weird junction up here. It's my piece. I can do what I want. Okay. This sandstone color up here I really like, but I don't know how I got that. Well, let's see. See if I can make that happen again. Yeah, I don't think I got sandstone yet. Feels a bit more purple. Okay. We haven't done very much of this Quin Magenta over here at all. What if we take a little Quin Magenta and a little bit of this Mother Red? And what do we get when we do that? It feels like it'll be purple because magenta is a bit more purpley, right? Asked and answered. It's a very pale purpley, pinky purpley. All right, sandstone. I want it to bend back towards warm. I almost want like a brown. I'm thinking on the fly. Can you tell? So I'm gonna grab some Quin Red. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of titanium buff. It's not brown. But let's just see what happens here. This is definitely an experiment. I have not put titanium buff in my palette in any of these colors before, but look at that. That's exactly, that kind of gives me that, it's still pink. Well, what do you know about that? That kind of worked out better than I thought. All right, so let's grab a little bit of water. Let's grab a little more Quin Red. Now, how do we bend it? Let's bend it a little bit with our Mother Red. red, which is very warm. And let's grab a little bit more of that titanium buff, or buff titanium, depending on the label you're reading. It's a little heavy saturation, but let's try it. Let's make a bigger square. Still not getting to that sandstone-y color. I was trying to, you know what, that's got a bit of orange in it, doesn't it? It does. Okay, so I do have a little bit of, I don't know, some sort of CAD ready, but it's a bit more orange. Maybe it's more like a vermilion. What if I add a little of this vermilion to it? Oh ho! And when that dries, that might be that sandstone-y color I'm kind of looking for. That pinky brown that's more warm than cool. That might be it. I gotta let that dry and come back to it and look at it again. That might be it. Now if I want a dustier pink, orange, the complement to orange is blue. To dull it down, do I want to grab a little blue? I really don't, but let's try it. Let's play what if. Oh, this might be a mess. This might be a mess. Or it might not. I'm not sure that dulled it one iota. I was so worried about it doing too much, I may have not done enough. And it's still orangey. I was trying to dull it with the blue, but it didn't do much, did it? Well, that's okay. Got plenty more rows to figure out. It's not bad. Certainly not these pinky purplies over here that we started with. Okay, so this next row, look, it's super squatty. Can she do it? You know what I'm going to do? Yes, I am going to do it. I am going to make this row a little more obvious for me so that maybe I will adhere to it down the pike. Yep. Drew myself a line. Because I can't be trusted to stay if there's not a line there. And that line was so faint, I wasn't seeing it. I just picked up a little bit of Quin Magenta, I believe. Nope, I don't know what that color is. It's Quin something. It's a very blue red with what was left on my brush with the like the CAD red and the blue, and it made this color. Yep. And now I can't get a straight line to save my life. Okay. You know, I wonder if I added a little bit of whatever this orange is to this purple, whatever's left over. This is a bit of a hodgepodge mixture of colors over here that just, all right, so now that made a mess out of my point on my brush, so I'm going to try to get my point back. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right. Well, that just isn't doing squat, is it? I may or may not have just picked up a little bit of Quin Gold. Whoopsie. It might or may not have been intentional. I just love Quin Gold. There's just something about it. I know it's not manufactured anymore. It's not the point. Alright, so we got to keep these nice and short and squatty. Squatty is the word. The bird is the word. Let's stay little. I don't know how to do that. I come from a large family. When I cook like I'm cooking for an army. For me to stay small, I'm almost 6 feet tall. I mean, small is just not in my vocabulary. And yet, okay, so far so good. Don't give up trying just because it's not been your wheelhouse. Yes, Mama. All right. We're going to stay pastel-y this time and small. Double challenge. Double challenge. Right. Nah, went over the line. I can't be contained. Well, I can. I just don't like to be contained. No, I do like it. I do like the structure, and that's what I'm trying to achieve, is more practice with being consistent with my structure. And hopefully one day I don't need lines. Or reminders not to put too much pigment on my brush. Here's hoping, because I went over that line too. All right. Oh, I think this is Quin Rose. I think that's what, excuse me, that's Quin Magenta. That's Quin Rose. And I know that's Quin Magenta. Pretty sure now that's Quin Rose. I know that's Quin Red, Opera, Shell Pink. But there might be 2 reds in there. I think Quin Rose is there, but then what's that? I don't know. That's a bad thing. I should put labels on the bottom. But then I think, oh, I need a color, and I grab a color and I squeeze out a blob. There you go. Same thing here. I've squeezed out blobs on the side of this little plastic guy. Who knows what that color is? I have no idea. Oh, I can't see it. Or maybe, oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Sorry. It would help if I knew what colors I was working with, so I could recreate or write down something like, ooh, I love that, and write down the recipe, you know? That's what good cooks do, right? Or good chefs do. Okay. The OCD in me wants to clean things up. That isn't always best for watercolor that dries on the paper. Yeah, I did add a little orange to these, and it's warming some of these up, which is nice. I think that produces a nice result when there's a little bit more of a warmer color in there mixed in with the cooler colors. I think it's more pleasing to the eyeball. All right. The nice thing about painting patterns like this is that once you lay out your grid, this is just like roughly 1 inch lines going this way and then 1 inch diagonal lines going the other way. Once you've laid out your grid, then you could take this book with you to travel, and you can sit while you're watching a sunset or watching your kids play at the park, or you know, whatever, and on an airplane, as long as not a book of this size, of course, you know what I mean, but you don't have to be in the zone or in the creative mood. You just get out your brush, get a little bit of water, and next thing you know, you're painting. And I do like creating patterns. I think patterns are, I don't know, pleasing to a lot of people. Makes their brain make sense of things, I think. At least it does mine. Okay. And you can get one of those little small one time I took an Altoids tin, and then I took those little pans, those little plastic pans, and put magnets. I like glued E6000 and some magnets on the bottom, and I filled up my pan with, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 colors, and then I used the lid of the Altoids tin as my mixing palette and a little bitty sketchbook, and I pre-drew out my my grids before I went, and I had different ones, and then I would like start maybe a line or two so I'd remember what my ideas were, and then yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you about what I do, but I guess as I'm sitting here painting and I think, what am I going to talk about? Food for thought. I just like helping other people, because I know sometimes I don't have the inspiration I wish I had to do what I need to do, and that's when my husband shows up and kicks me in the fanny and says, get in your studio, you'll feel better. And he's right every time. It's not that I don't want to come in here, it's that I don't know what I want to do when I get here, you know, because I have 1,200 ideas all bumping around into each other in my head. Which one do I give front and center? So what you're seeing here is just my warm-up exercises, as it were, every day. My creative stretch. All right, I think we're going to finish up this row, and then we're going to finish this live and go get into something else for the day. But I've got about another 5 to 6 minutes left to finish this row. I also find that sometimes if I do too much, my hand gets tired, or I start rushing because I feel like there's some imaginary finish line that there isn't. Because as soon as I finish this one, I'm going to start another one. And as soon as I fill up this book, I'm going to start another book. So this is just meant to be a way to have a daily art practice. My way. I see all these people that like draw 10 minutes a day, or they do a abstract piece every day, or whatever. This is my way, I guess. One of my ways, anyway. Again, I'm still trying to keep these pastel-y colors going here, not go too crazy with the pigments, because I got nutty with the jewel tones up there. Ooh, got too close to that one, didn't I? Got all sketchy. That's the other thing, is I start making mistakes if I do it too long. That sounds silly, I realize, but I do. I think it's because I start rushing for no reason in particular, other than I just can. All right. Today, after this, I think I'm going to start working on a piece. I decorate my foyer in my home for every season. And I'm going to watercolor some little beach cabanas, beach houses. You know, like the houses in New England that where you go and change your bathing suits and with a bunch of umbrellas in front of them. I think I'm going to watercolor that piece for that. My frame in the foyer is huge. It's like what size is that? It's like 18 by 24, something like that. It's really big. It's a thrifted frame made from somebody who's taking apart a house in Ohio, and they took all the moldings and made a frame, and it's just massive. It's a big white frame. So I paint a picture every year or every season I should say, to go in it. It's my I say I don't paint pictures, but it's more you're gonna know it's houses and you're gonna know it's umbrellas, but I'm not gonna paint the beach in it, if that makes any sense. And they may be collaged in there too, so stay tuned. I may or may not film it though. I can film patterns, that's easy, but filming things that I'm thinking of on the fly is less easy, less intuitive for me. I'm more shooting from the hip in those moments. Man, I just feel like I got the same pinks going on again, and these are so smooth, and these are all streaky. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna find our groove here. I don't think I have enough water on these pieces here, these tiles. Next to last one. Oh, now we're going to make this the last one. Actually, we're going to go all the way across. Boom. Yeah, I think I was trying to be too conservative with my water again. Right, that happy medium sure is hard to find. At least it is for me. Hope you guys are having better luck with that than me, but I'll continue to practice so that I can get that consistency of water. All right, well, I think I'm done for this time around. Thank you for joining me as I went live. This is my first time going live, so it doesn't feel any different than just filming, but I can't pause if my son walks through the door or anything like that, but it's all good. But anyway, thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you again another time.